So this is kind of ironic. We were talking about stadiums last night, and Rob Dayton's tweeted last night that about a meeting that took place. Hello and welcome to this video. If you could like, share and subscribe to the channel, much appreciate it. Liking out the algorithm, sharing gets in front of people's faces, and subscribing lets me know you like the channel. Hit that notification bell to let you know when videos go live. So, Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, we all know are in the stage of administration. We are waiting to see which preferred bidder gets done on the 5th of December. But last night on my live stream, we were talking about a stadium, and we were talking about would you move the ground and stuff like that, and where you could possibly do a new site for the stadium, for a new ground. Well, that's interesting because Rob Dayton said, understand a meeting took place between a party interested in buying Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield City Council recently to discuss topics including the possibility of the site of a new ground. Now, people online were speculating that it was a meeting with the Waltons. It was not with the Waltons, it was just with one of the groups who were looking. But the fact that in last night's live, we're speaking about where could you put a new ground if possible. It says a lot of where everything is looking, in a sense in that this is the kind of conversation that people are having now. Some people were saying last night, and I was saying, maybe you revamp Hillsborough and stuff. But I was saying that if you revamp it and you actually do it properly, you're going to be talking 50 plus to get it done how you want it to do, like, be brutally honest. So the fact that people are already looking at places where they could build new ground is interesting. Now, I hope in those conversations, in the same breath, it's the same as going looking for new training ground as well, because we need both. We would need a new place for a training ground and a new place for a ground. And for me, right now, that makes a very interesting conversation. It makes you start looking at what land is possible to be built on. And I said last night, wherever you put a new ground, it needs to have decent transport links. The beautiful thing that Wednesday got right now with the ground we're at the minute in Hillsborough, it's on the tram lines. It's literally on the tram line. You get the bus into town, or you get wherever you are in town, you get tram and you're there. That's perfect. And you want it to try and keep on those kind of good public transport networks. And you want it somewhere where you're not going to cause too much traffic problems. We know that when games happen, Penton Road becomes a nightmare. But it is interesting that this is the kind of thing that potential parties are talking to the council to go, right, we're interested in buying Wednesday. We want to know, where can we build if we did this? What are you looking from us in terms of proposals? What are we having to make sure we get right with you? And it shows you the mindset of the new owners, whoever they are, is that whoever is coming in is going to have deep pockets. And if you're wanting to do a modern day football club with lots of multi-purpose facilities and infrastructure, you have to probably move Hillsborough. You have to. It just, where it is, as much as I love a traditional stadium with what we are, it's one of them. I feel like there's a lot who would be against moving from Hillsborough, but it's one of them where you need to maybe move on from it. But you look at where the land is, it would be very difficult to make it so feasible, if that makes sense. And where Hillsborough, the footprint don't work, the land itself it sits on isn't great. We're very much in a flood warning if ever that River Don goes Berthit Banks again. And as long as it's somewhere where it's not a bowl, I hate bowl stadium, but it's also it's not just dumped in like an industrial park. It's got to still be in and around somewhere around Essex. But that's the difficult part. Where are you going to find somewhere where it got it? Because you got to think about it. The ground isn't just the ground, it's the megastore as well. Our megastore is just a bit of a building that's stuck on the side. So this is really interesting that this is something that got tweeted last night by Rob Statton, and we were talking about the ground and where we think could happen with it. So yeah, I just thought it was very interesting to see that this conversation is being had by potential new owners. And it says a lot about who might be coming in, because we know new grounds are not cheap. In the scheme of things, new grounds cost a lot of money to develop. You've got to make sure you've got everything right with the council. You've got to make sure everything's right with infrastructure, transport linked a lot. So if we were going to move the ground, where would be an ideal spot for you if you're a Wednesday fan looking at grounds and whereabouts it should be? That's the first question I want to ask you all in the comment section. Where would you want it to ideally be? Secondly, does it still have to be in Essex, or can it go to somewhere else in Sheffield? And thirdly, what price do you think a new stadium would cost at? Because I'm going to say a fair bit. A fair bit will be a new stadium. And I think developing a site which you can't grow any further, it potentially you are dumping money into something that you're not going to be able to redo. So I think it's like renovating a house. How much money are you willing to put into it before you know you're going to get what back? So yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you think. It's an interesting situation that we're in, another interesting talking point. It was a good one we had last night when we spoke about it. But yeah, it's one of them where I love us to do Hillsborough up, but if it's not viable in terms of the money situation, to dump all that money in and not expand it, you find a new site. You find a new site and you build on a new site and you go from there. You look at what Birmingham are doing. Birmingham are doing very similar. They are looking at moving from St Andrews to somewhere else, but it's still going in with their history. Maybe look at Ollerton Park, that area. Maybe go back to your roots a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. Let me know.